You're listening to the Feed Your Wild podcast, a conscious lifestyle show about all things nourishing for your body, mind, and soul. I'm Vanessa Rodriguez, and join me for candid conversations with changemakers, exploring health and wellness, food as medicine, intuition and spirituality, and nature-based practices that will transform your health and feed all parts of your wild self. Welcome back to the Feed Your Wild podcast. I'm your host, Vanessa Rodriguez, your intuitive nourishment guide today and every episode. Thank you for tuning in and listening. We have another moon musing. My guides are really wanting me to do these moon musings and are super last minute in pushing me to do so. I swear, every time they're like literally testing my time capabilities. And so it's been interesting, but here we are with a full moon in Capricorn. And once again, we have an adventurous walkie-talkie outside in nature with my little baby Santos strapped to my chest and early morning. So you might hear that in the background. And yeah, this is what's coming up and what they're having me do. So really connecting and channeling from outside, which actually feels really, really good. So again, the sound quality, I'm a stickler for sound quality and not my favorite thing to not have that. Maybe I need to invest in some sort of sound apparatus, microphone setup that I can have outside while walking. So stay tuned for that, because it seems like a lot of my episodes are going to be recorded outside. So I'll check into that for the sake of your ears and my sound audio quality neurotics. But here we go once again with this walkie-talkie moonwalk moon musing for this full moon in Capricorn. Enjoy. And we are back on a moonwalk. Thanks for coming with me on this little adventure outside my home in the woods with my little baby Santos. So we are here soaking in the morning sun and soundscape. You might hear some birds, maybe some leaves under our feet rustling, perhaps some horses that we have next door. And I just invite you to take all of the background noise, including the man-made ones, let's say if a car passes by, to add that to the palette, to the texture today of our exploration of this full moon. So let's get into it. We are talking about today's full supermoon, buck moon in Capricorn. And it's July 13th. We are coming in on, I would say, some pretty powerful energies. That's kind of been the theme lately. A lot of powerful energies in the cosmos that we've been dealing with. So there can be a sense of overwhelm. We've talked about this before. Just really needing to take care of yourself and of your nervous system, because so much over the past few years has been coming up and needing our attention, and for us to really look at and work with what's been excavated. So that's on a personal and collective level. And this full supermoon is no exception. We have Pluto that is playing a role here as well. Pluto is, if you want to think about the power structures at play, Pluto about power, Pluto also really bringing this, you could say, a bit heaviness here. Pluto, the god or lord of the underworld, can bring some heaviness along with this full moon. So let's talk about first the energetics of Capricorn, because I think even from a medical astrology perspective, it can be helpful to understand how this moon might be impacting you through the physical body. So Capricorn, as the cardinal earth sign, the ruling planet of Capricorn is Saturn. So however you want to look at that, the term that's coming to me right now is Big Daddy. But, a lot of folks don't want to place gender on these cosmic forces and energies. It just sort of is like that energy that kind of brings you back to your place and reminds you of what you're here to do, who you are, where you're supposed to go, your soul purpose. Are you out of the path? So with Saturn return, sometimes it could be a big kick in the ass, that Saturn return, because if you are not on your path, or if you're out of alignment, or if you got other stuff going on, or you got demons that you're fighting, it can be some serious alignment moments, and sometimes that doesn't feel so wonderful. But Saturn and Capricorn are not about feeling wonderful. They're about really, again, alignment and bringing you back to your core, your center, your bones. So with the body systems connected to Capricorn, we have your backbone, your joints, your knees, and the very skeletal system that holds the rest of your body and you could say fluids up. You also have your teeth, your skin, your hair, your nails, these very root chakra, you could say, elements here, connected to who you are to the bone, literally. And it can also be connected to the gallbladder. So here, thinking about will and having the gall to do something, right? So with Capricorn, the symbol that we have is the goat, and the sea goat, this mystical creature, the sea goat, that can travel and traverse the highest mountain and swim the depths of the deepest sea. So Capricorn is really here to not only confront, what is not working for you, what is not supposed to be in your path, really taking radical responsibility for how things unfold and how you can step forward in a more empowered way. But it really is looking at traversing these depths and these heights, the mountains that you might feel are in front of you, the seemingly bottomless oceans that you're trying to swim out of. The sea goat is here to teach you, to help you to remember that you have these skills to move through them, and not just move through them and get to the other side, but to also relish in that journey. What are you learning? What are you taking with you? What are you unearthing? A Capricorn is not afraid to really look at these things and to be confrontational in some respects. And I would say in a healthy way. So I think of my mom, who was a Capricorn sun, and she had this amazing ability to confront someone about something that she saw. Maybe, I don't know, a person is not coming to work and doing well, and maybe they look a bit raggedy, like there's something going on. And she had this way of reflecting that to them, telling them what she's seeing and some of the things that a person could take as, I'm not doing well enough, or I'm not looking my best. But the person would always take it as a gift and this reflection and say thank you. She had this really amazing gift to be sort of no bullshit talker and be able to confront, but in like this really loving way. And I think it's really because, well, her Capricornian nature for sure, but also because she did so with love. She did so with love. And I think that that's a really big lesson that we all can really take with us, especially with this full moon in Capricorn. We have Gemini that is also at play here. We have Mercury that's also at play here. So looking at communication, this full moon, this full supermoon, so the closest supermoon, so the moon literally the closest moon of the year, is going to shine a light on some things where topics, situations, circumstances of which we might have to have some pretty hard conversations. Or maybe that's an internal dialogue that could be very challenging and not necessarily with someone else, although very well can be, having some deep and challenging conversations with someone else about something. So when you come to those places, and again, with that Pluto influence, it can maybe even feel a little heavy. Can you ground and root yourself in love? Can you connect to your heart space, to your bones, who you are, what you came here to do, standing tall in yourself, fully heart connected, and have that conversation from that place? Because it is from that place that you cannot be swayed by misperceptions and deceptions. You cannot be swayed by those mental gremlins we've been talking about, or the reactions of others. Okay? So I feel that this full moon for many people can be a beautiful invitation to step into that. And can we even get a little excited about that? I think so often we can dread conversations like that. We can dread moments, events, circumstances like that. And I'm trying to reframe and look at it as like, damn, this is an opportunity to stand even taller in my truth, in my bones, and to lovingly communicate my truth to myself and to others in the greater world around me. And how powerful is that when you can communicate and disseminate your truth and your love from that place, and with that audacity, and to hold the space in the field for others to do the same. Because, it might be easy for some of us to stand in that place, but then not be on the receiving end of that communication. And I want you to see that as an opportunity as well, because you can receive criticism, confrontation with love, even if the other is not putting it out with love. You can take the bits that serve you and leave the rest. And of course, protect yourself in that process. I'm not saying take a beating, so to speak, verbally or otherwise, but to be unswayable in that way, because your bones, your truth, yourself is so rooted and strong and heart connected. That's one of the biggest messages that I'm receiving about this full moon in this time. And you can utilize that archetype of the sea goat as your guide, as your spirit guide, and really embody that energy to assist you in this time and in those moments. Now, with full moons, it is looking at things that have come to their fullness and are ready to be released and let go. So this full moon may also bring up some things that need to come to an end. Perhaps it's the way that you relate to yourself and yourself at your core, to the bone. Perhaps it's some goals that you had or have completed. There could be some blocks that we have to our own goals. And those blocks must come to an end and be released in order for you, that embodied sea goat, to meet those goals. You know, we come to this journey, and we know that here in Earth School, it is not an easy path. And yet here we are, choosing to do so, to learn, to grow, to connect, to love, to remember. And the obstacles, those mountains and those, those scary bodies of water that we have to traverse, we have to learn to swim. We have to learn to climb. We have to learn the skills of survival and how to support ourselves. And these are gifts that we can take with us throughout our journey of our lifetime and lifetimes here in Earth School. So looking at what might need to be let go, perhaps it's even ideas or things that are just not in alignment or possible or sustainable for you right now. Can you let it go? Maybe it's not forever. Maybe it's temporarily. But this is a time to do a little bit of, you could say, house cleaning in that way, and assessing so that you can get really focused on what is most important and critical for you and your journey right now, for your soul path and your alignment to your purpose. What needs to be moved out of the way right now? So this full moon could be a reality check or a wake-up call for some or a lot of us. And again, connecting to your bones, to your heart, to this earth, and to your soul. And remembering that you always have that ability to rewrite your story, to restory the path. A big piece of my work here, part of my purpose here, is to not only restory my lineage, my ancestral lineage of dis-ease, because I see so much in terms of these patterns of dis-ease throughout my maternal line, throughout my paternal line, just my ancestral heritage. And so to transform and transmute that for myself, and you could say transform those demons for myself and my family, but also to assist others in doing so as well, in transmuting and transforming the lineage of dis-ease that they might be carrying, those patterns that you're just ready to let go because it's not part of your story. Perhaps it was inherited or it was thrown upon you. And for so many of us who are sensitive, who are empathic, who are heart-centered, because of that sensitivity, we can receive so deeply and take on what is not ours to carry and take on what is not us. So can you do an assessment, sort of a bone check, if you will? What bones are you carrying that are not yours? Can you assess what you are carrying within your bones? How much of that can be released? It's time. It's time to let that go. It's no longer part of your story. If it was with you for lifetimes, or if it was with your ancestral line, it's time to transform it. And you are the one that can do so. You have the capacity to do that. Now, saying goodbye and closing the door on some of these things is not easy most of the time. It's a really hard thing to do. Even if that thing has been so painful, and you have been traveling with that for eons, it seems. Definitely your whole life. Maybe you've seen your family walk with it, carry it. There's a big part of us that can identify with these things that we carry that are not us. You know, there's an commingling, there's an interconnectedness that we can feel, and there's a grief that comes with the letting go, even though we may know that it is the best thing for us. You know, I think a really good example of that would be like a toxic relationship, whether that's a relationship to a family member, a partner, a loved one. Those are some of the hardest ones to let go and release, because you may see the goodness. You may have memories of amazing times. You may have this deep desire for things to be different, to connect in a more loving way. And you just wish things would just change and be different. They can, but it starts with you. And it starts with setting up those boundaries unapologetically, with compassion and non-judgment. When you can step into that place of self-love, compassion, and yet have these badass boundaries, that is when the deepest forms of transformation can occur. And it may occur in you, and it may occur in others that are in your orbit. So don't underestimate the power of making these really hard choices and decisions to let go or to say no. And watch what unfolds. Watch what is in store for you when you say yes to yourself and your truth and your bones, the integrity of your bones. One of the things that, on a personal note, that I've been dealing with, more on the bodily level, in connection to Capricorn, is skin issues have come up for me lately. And it's interesting because skin and acne in particular, but some skin issues, have always been a, quote, problem for me since, as long as I can remember, but really mostly since puberty. And I remember thinking, oh man, when I'm in my 20s, then I'm no longer going to be dealing with this. And in my 20s, of course, I dealt with it in a cyclical fashion here and there. Really got a lot better with my shifts in diet, nutrition, lifestyle, my relationships. But nonetheless, it was there. And, if my immune system got a hit or I was down for whatever reason, it would resurface. Or when big shifts would happen. that I would see the issues with skin creep up again. And lately they've been showing up as acne on my face. And now I am in the postpartum period, and you could say that there's a lot of hormonal shifts. I'm not getting sleep, let's be real. And there's just a lot in general that's happening that can definitely tank my immune system and lead to these eruptions on my face. But I want to tune into it from this perspective of this full moon in Capricorn and in relation to skin here. Now, the imbalances and diseases connected to Capricorn and Saturn can be an excess of cold, constriction, or lack of moisture. And we see that slow metabolism can also be connected here. But skin complaints is definitely Capricornian in nature and can be linked with also the digestive system and the gallbladder, which we also know is connected to Capricorn. So I have, just to be fully transparent and sharing a bit of how I'm dealing with it. On a physical level, I'm supporting myself with digestive tonics. So bringing in bitters, some bitters to support my liver, my biliary system, so liver and gallbladder to get that bile moving. And in that way, liver and gallbladder tonics. So supporting with nutritive, warming, and oily natured herbs and roots, some of which include dandelion root and ginger being warming and moving. I'm also doing my bitter greens that I have from the garden, radicchio and dandelion leaves, arugula. I'm also supporting digestion with carminatives, some teas that we've been making that include ginger, although now with the hot summertime, doing minimal ginger because it's so heating and warming for me, and I don't want to aggravate the pitta or the fire within me that can be connected to the acne and the eruptions. But also lemon balm, the nice cooling mint of lemon balm, and chamomile, as well as fennel and other carminatives like cardamom. And I'm having that, making it as a hot tea, but then cooling it down, putting it in the fridge and having it as a cold tea in the summertime. So really gentle and nice for the digestive system and moving the blood and supporting the liver gallbladder. Now, that's just something that I'm doing for my digestive system and liver gallbladder on a physical level. Something that I'm doing on my body and rather than inside is bringing some St. John's wort oil. This one I purchased from Amber Magnolia Hill from Medicine Stories podcast. Love her oil, love her podcast, love Amber. And that has been really nurturing and soothing for my nervous system, which again, really needing to support my nervous system and my adrenals since I'm not sleeping and I'm breastfeeding and working and all those things that, new parents are journeying with. So doing some abhyanga, some self-massage with those oils, especially on my knees, my belly, my solar plexus, and just my legs, my feet, and visualizing it going and supporting and coating and soothing my nervous system and my bones. One of the things that I understand as a healing practitioner and as a nutritionist is that most ailments, if not all, are rooted deeply in the energetic and the spiritual. And so I know that the resurfacing of this issue that I've had that is also ancestral, and I see it in my family line, is something much deeper than the skin. It's not skin deep, or you could say it's skin deep, and that goes very deep. So really looking at what wants to be looked at, what is resurfacing in this time, and what is that showing me? What am I releasing through my skin? So the skin, your largest organ and detox organ. What shows up on your skin is most definitely a reflection of what's happening inside, and can often be a release. When I tune in to my skin and these eruptions, it feels a lot like a release, and I'm feeling almost a sense of grief within this eruption. And yes, there's a little bit of the grief of, having an acne breakout, and especially after journeying with it for so long and having it resurface yet again. But there's a deeper grief here that is inviting me to sit with and to be with and to create some space and time to really allow it to move me and maybe move through my waters so that it doesn't move through my skin as strongly. So I just wanted to share a little bit of that on a personal note of what I've been journeying with. I know that this is a release and part of a detox effect, not just, with the postpartum hormones and the shifts and all of that, but also because I've been doing some deep spiritual healing work on myself and my family. And I know that a lot comes up and needs to come out when we do this very deep work. So I'm also honoring the space that my body needs to be able to do that, and just really support her in all the ways, and the intelligence that she has to release what my body's ready to let go of. I hope that was helpful for anyone who might be dealing not just with skin issues, but with anything in this time. If you feel that it is amplified, really seeing this time as an extended, beautiful window to peer through and to look at some of these really tough things or the mirror. It may not even be a window, it may be a mirror, and to look at what's coming up for you and how you can hold yourself and others with such deep compassion to move through it. I know so many of you are dealing with things that are far, far bigger than acne. I also am always journeying with deeper things as well, but I hope that example, that simple example, can be extrapolated to whatever issue or challenge you are facing right now. I don't think it's a coincidence that Capricorn is represented in the tarot by the Devil and the World card. And when we're looking at the court cards, also the Queen of Pentacles. So I wanted to take a look at that a little bit. Now here, I think these three basically encompass and represent everything that I've just discussed thus far. We have the Devil, and of course, the Devil can be representative of those mental gremlins, of the demons that we face, that we carry, the addictions, the negativity, and the cycles that we are always invited into, and then they spin out or spiral down into the depths, into seemingly bad places. And so the devil, of course, is, while it can be that mental gremlin or demon, like on our back and literally in our field, it's also, again, an invitation to reconnect to our bones. When you are connected to yourself so deeply, then traversing through the devil card, yes, can still be hard, but absolutely fruitful, and you will make it on the other side. So the devil card is always an opportunity to look at, what are we journeying with, and how can we begin to really let go of these things that are not serving us. The world card. Now, the world is the end of the major arcana. We've talked about the world card in previous episodes. It's the end of a chapter, the end of a cycle. So here, looking at releasing, again, releasing that chapter and that cycle, and never to traverse it again, because you have already done it. You're moving on to a different level, a different dimension. So that really encompassing the energy of this full moon in Capricorn. And then Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles is so rad. She is the wisdom keeper of the earth, so deeply rooted and connected to the earth, to her body, to all of the so-called mundane aspects of life, from money to food, to shelter, to home. Queen of Pentacles is so connected in that way that she is fully and unapologetically standing in her truth always, 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 and teaching and showing others how to do so in her wise, receptive, loving, compassionate way. And she carries the deep medicine of earth and the wisdom of our bodies. So I encourage you to connect with these cards if you have a tarot practice or not. Even just if this is the first time you're hearing about these archetypes. Whichever stands out to you, I invite you to connect with that card in a ritual for this full moon in Capricorn. And along with allowing yourself to energetically embody that sea goat, can you connect to the medicine of these cards and bring that medicine and dose yourself during this time? Maybe even homeopathically, very gently, small doses that last a lifetime and go so deep, deep into your bones. I'm going to now ask our guides if there's anything else that they would like for us to know and to receive as we journey through this full moon in Capricorn at this time. Allow the music to move your feet, the songs of the bird, the whistles of the wind, the music that is played around you always, available at all times, no amplifiers or speakers required. Allow your feet to move your body. Allow your knees to bounce, sway to the beat and rhythm of the earth, of her heart, of her pulse, and the blood that connects each and every single one of you to her her bodies of water circulating inside your bodies, nourishing your bones with her spirits, millions of spirits, each having a task to love and insert love deeply into your core, looping you back to Source, to God, Creator, so that your bones remember, always remember and carry like a mesa, carrying the medicine wherever you go. Ceremony in action, moving with the rhythms of your own heart, of your own song. Let your song be sung from the depths of your bones. As they say, being the hollow bone, receive the music that is available to you and play it like a flute, coaxing the ears and attention of all our human and other than human friends and family. Your song is meant to be sung, whistled through your bones, and as it passes through those sacred caverns, mineralized walls that hold the wisdom of all of time, allow your song to be imbued by your experiences, your challenges, your wishes, your nourishment, and your love. For it is a song unsung that is the greatest of all tragedies. Do not allow another lifetime to pass without being heard. Utilize the energies available to you through these cosmic forces in this time to carry those notes from your heart to the heart of the earth and the hearts of the other. In this way, deep healing is available to all. And that was our short little reading, channeled in just now while we are still on our walk, going strong. And the sun is now getting a bit warmer. It's rising in temperatures. It's pretty hot here where I'm at in Southern Oregon. So I will be going back home, shadow hopping. Thank you, trees, for providing beautiful gift of shadow and reprieve from the beautiful sun's hotness and heaviness. And thank you for tuning in and listening. I wanted to plant a seed that I will be opening up applications once again for a very special program that I've been working so deeply on and being held in a container along with other healers. They are incredible, and I'm so grateful for this community coming together and for those of you saying yes already. So I will be announcing some days in the future when applications are starting to open up once again for my practitioner program called Wildly Intuitive Practitioner Pathway. So stay tuned for that. If you want to get first dibs on any announcement, information, inside look, behind the scenes, all that I share in my emails, sign up for the newsletter. You can go to wildlyrooted.com/subscribe, or simply click the link that is available to you in your podcast app below, connected to this episode. Thank you for tuning in, sharing your ear and your heart with me in reception of these messages. I'm so grateful to do this and walking with my baby on my chest, and sending you so much love with this beautiful, powerful, and heavy in all the wonderful ways. Full moon in Capricorn. And I will see you next time. Something for you. One of the biggest challenges that I hear from people is that they are feeling stuck when it comes to their health. You're a smart, capable, and creative change maker, right? And you know what you should be doing for your health. So what gives? Well, it's not about willpower. And I wanted to create something that would help you to unlearn the things that are keeping you stuck so that you can get out of your own way and master the mindset of health. That's why I created Wildly Unstuck, where you'll learn the top 5 things that I have found to sabotage your health goals and what to do about them. You'll learn what it really takes to become committed and unstoppable when it comes to your health goals and find the clarity you've been looking for so you know exactly what to do to get back into alignment. And I made it totally free. So if this is something that you want to dive into and create a vision and soul goals for your health and your life and bring your gifts to the world, because we know that we need it, then I invite you to join us in Wildly Unstuck. You can find that at wildlyrooted.com/unstuck. I'll see you on the other side.